Hello fellow cinephizies, my name is Christina and welcome to another Let's Get Reelz movie review. Today is Classic Movie Thursdays, my version of Throwback Thursdays, and today's movie I shall be reviewing is Desk Set, and this was actually a request in the comment section by a lovely subscriber, Victoria Grant. So here is my first subscriber request. Desk Set stars Katharine Hepburn and Spencer Tracy. It begins with Spencer Tracy's character, Richard Sumner, going to the office of the head of a TV network, I believe, and he is there to see the head of the network, but he's not there, so Richard decides to go down to the research department and check it out, and he's a little weird as the receptionist for the network head says to the girls in research, because he's heading down there, so she calls them and gives them a heads up. And the research department is filled with women who know just about everything. They have all these books, but they pick up the phone and they're like, yes, it's this, yes, it's that. The head of the research department is Bunny Watson, played by Katharine Hepburn, and her sidekick, friend, second in command is Peg, played wonderfully by Joan Blondell. Richard busts out his tape measure and measures from the balcony down, and they're all like, what are you doing? And they start asking him questions. He says that he is an engineer of sorts and he's there to do something for the research department. Richard is there to figure out where to put a computer instead of having to use Bunny, Peg, and the two other girls and their knowledge and make it more efficient for somebody to go looking for information. Bunny, Peg, and the two other girls, they know that something's up and that their jobs are kind of in trouble. Richard kind of tells them, even though he wasn't supposed to, but he accidentally did, and then they start working their butts off saying like, oh, we're meant to be here, you know, they start really answering questions, answering the phones, and of course Bunny and Richard start liking each other because this is a Katharine Hepburn and Spencer Tracy movie, and that's just what usually happens in their movies, despite them kind of butting heads a little bit most of the time, it's like this one, but you know, they can't help that, and in the end, they hysterically prove that the brain is more powerful than a computer. Desk Set was actually pretty interesting to watch because Bunny and Peg and everyone else kept saying that, you know, the computer is not as great as people, you know, will never be replaced, they won't take our jobs, all this stuff. Well, you know what happened, you know, 50 odd, 60 odd years later, computers have definitely taken the place of they're pretty much reference librarians or reference people, and, you know, they don't really have that job nowadays. I mean, you probably do have a research department within a TV network and studios and all that stuff, but it's not like, you know, they have to really go look at books. They can pull it up on the internet and they're not, you know, surrounded by all this stuff, and I really like that. I thought that was very interesting, and, you know, I remember the time back in the 90s before computers were really mainstream and, you know, what they are today. I didn't use computers to do research. I remember my mom and I did a project when I was in elementary school and we used the Britannica. You know, we didn't have a computer yet. And then when we got a computer, it was an old compact, and I blew that one up, and I blew the Dell up that we had next because I started downloading music. I had Napster and LimeWire and, you know, just old technology. I remember all that, you know, and every new computer that comes out still blows my mind. I think it's awesome, and computers have definitely taken the place of a lot of things. I mean, now you have your tablets taking the place of books. My phone that I film on, you know, is taking the place of so many other things in my life, you know. It's my handy computer when I'm out, it's my GPS now, and it's just, technology is freaking awesome, and it's like really cool to see how in 1957 they're like, oh, the computers will never take over, people are more valuable. Well, so is time and so is money, and companies do not want to pay people anymore. I enjoyed the cast very much. Katharine Hepburn, I have some issues with her. I mean, I like her, I'm sure You can see somewhere. I got some Katharine Hepburn books over here. I think she's interesting. I do not personally think that she's one of the greatest actresses alive, as I've said before in a previous film I reviewed that she was in. You know, she's just good. Katharine Hepburn actually did not get on my nerves in this movie, which is surprising because most of the time I like her, but she bothers me more than I like her. And in Desk Set, she was really good. She was very good. It didn't feel like she was trying to be better than everyone else. Like she had this air like, oh, I'm such a great actress. No, she genuinely looked like she had a good time making this film. And Spencer Tracy's another one that always kind of drove me nuts with his acting. Like he was just way too serious, or it's just blah to me. And he was very good in this movie. He seemed to have a little bit more like pep in his acting, and you know, like Katharine Hepburn too, she seemed to have like a little bit more pep into her acting. Joan Blondell as Peg, I was like dying when I realized that she was in this movie. I love Joan Blondell. I love how feisty she was in her movies in the 1930s, and she is just so completely feisty in Desk Set, and just everything I could have hoped for. Joan Blondell and Katharine Hepburn actually have a fantastic scene together, actually like two fantastic scenes together. One of them was when they got totally wasted in the office on champagne. They were so silly and so funny. And then there was a scene that I actually read was improvised when they were at Bunny's apartment and Richard was there and he was leaving, and Spencer Tracy came out and he had his hat on backwards. He just looked all disheveled, and Katharine Hepburn actually falls on the floor. Joan Blondell is just laughing hysterically. They're both laughing, and those two scenes were so good, and I think that's what made me enjoy Katharine Hepburn and Spencer Tracy a little bit more, seeing them kind of silly, kind of like loose. They weren't so uptight and worried about being, you know, two of the greatest actors out there. That is my review of Desk Set. If you liked my review in any way, give it a thumbs up, leave a comment down below so we can further discuss this, and if you have any movie suggestions like my wonderful follower Victoria Grant, please let me know and I will give you a shout. I love to watch movies, any kind, doesn't matter, doesn't have to be a classic movie, it can be whatever movie you would like to see me review. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button for future Classic Movie Thursdays and other movie reviews. And as always, keep watching movies and stay absolutely fabulous.